Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Enugu. Welcome to another episode on New Day, your favorite breakfast weekend show here on Signature TV. I'm Princess Ken Achama, and I'd like to welcome you to another day. I trust your morning is going well. It's Saturday. It's another day. We are gearing towards the holiday seasons. We are in the holiday seasons, and I hope your heart is prepared. You're preparing your family, your friends to celebrate the season. All right, this morning we're starting off with our newspaper headlines, and we have a couple of interviews lined up for you this morning. I would like you to sit back and enjoy. Coming up next is our newspaper review. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now we're starting off, like I said earlier, with our newspaper headlines this morning. And the paper that we shall be starting off with this morning is the Weekend Trust. A major headline says, irrigation farming under threat. This is on page 4. We have a graphic of a man watering his farm with, a water extension and a tractor around it. Then on page 12, we have, we should pray for Nigeria. Senator UK Omar says. On page 28, how APC ADC benefits from PDP crisis. Page 31 has a day in the life of Kwara's town crier. All right, on page 8 on Weekend Trust, we have Kogi, a gateway under attack. And lastly, on page 33, we have Lieutenant Yerima, life after encounter with Wiki. All right, you can pick that up and read up on the newspaper this morning. Next is The Punch, the most widely read newspaper. A major headline this morning on The Punch newspaper can be seen on page 4. Real reason ex-defense minister Badaru resigned. Inside the Cold War between Badaru, Matawale. I am here to lead, work and deliver, says new defense minister Musa. All right. On page 4 and 8, have acquitted Lagos doctor Olufemi Olayele remanded in UK for recording sexual activities. Page 16, celebrities who battled with body shaming. All right, we move on to page 29. We have, I was mocked, betrayed over 16 years of barrenness, an Anambra woman says. Page 22 and 23 has how real estate firm duped 4,000 investors in fresh Ponzi scheme. Page 25 has 4 Borno teenagers killed in bomb explosion. On page 25, Omishori Mon as APC blocks governor ambition. All right, on page 2 has power drunk Edo official brutalized me for defending my cameraman. An ABC journalist, Essien, laments. All right, and lastly on The Punch on page 25, you are enemies of democracy. PDP slams defecting lawmakers. That's it on The Punch newspaper this morning. We move over to Vanguard. Page 10. On education, why mother tongue policy failed in Nigeria. Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, part of dilemma of heterogeneous languages. Lack of teachers, materials, others. It is not implementable, says the NUT. That's why mother tongue policy failed in Nigeria. On page 12, we have terrorists hold over 7,000 captive in 7 states. Page 13 has where are our wives? Husbands of kidnapped defense ministry directors cry out. Page 7, Rivers, 16 PDP lawmakers defect to APC. On page 15, Economic Summit. Boris Johnson declares Nigeria safe as Dangote's open check raises hope for Imo State. On page 25, on Kaduna, Governor Sani meets Kuwait's Fund Director General for Agriculture, Education and Health Support. On page 14, on Home Affairs, when love and money are not enough. And on page 8, we have local government allocations. Supreme Court strikes out Osun's case against federal government. And we have articles from Muiwa Adetiba on page 23, Emma Akize, Francis Ehadiro, and Ugoji Ebujo. That's it on the Vanguard. We move over to the Independent. On page 8, our major headline is New Tax Regime. Federal government experts calm Nigerians' fear as 2026 reforms take shape. On page 22, era of fuel queues in Nigeria has ended. Dangote boasts, says supplies for Christmas season guaranteed. On page 20, from £2 loan to industrial titan, Prince Samuel Adedoyin reflects on building the Doyin Empire at 90. On page 6, Osun Guba, APC disqualifies Omishore and 6 others, clears Oyebanji Jimo. Page 3, Timmy Frank says U.S. action exposes Nigerian government's reluctance to fight terrorism. On page 30, can Nigeria's new defense minister finally break the grip of insecurity? That's a question. On page 4, PDP petitions FHC chief judge, demands withdrawal of judge from suit. And lastly, on Independent, on page 9, elevated and unbowed, Miriam Timmer, Princess Jokoko detail RHUGT's emotional Brazil journey. And lastly, we look at the leadership weekend. Our headline on page 4 says, food prices drop as festive season approaches. And they go ahead to give a list of food prices as it varies among states, a few states across the country. Food prices drop as festive season approaches. On page 7, Prof. Awodu says new laws will eliminate tax inconsistency. On page 6, Osun 2026, All Progressives Congress bars Omishore, 6 others, clears Bamiji Mulikat for primary. On page 7, fuel smuggling still high, but queues gone forever, says Dangote. And then on page 7, Akpabio's 200 billion naira suit. I can now prove sexual harassment case, says Senator Natasha. On page 18, Rivers Speaker leads 15 other lawmakers to All Progressives Congress. On page 6 still, Borno spending heavily on insecurity, says Zulum. And lastly, for the weekend newspaper this morning, on page 24, Tinubu's food diplomacy. Night First Lady treated lawmakers to sumptuous dinner. And that's it on our newspaper headlines this morning. We are here with our analysts and my big uncle to help us analyze some of these newspaper headlines this morning as we go through them. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Princess.
Welcome.
Welcome the world and all the people who have joined us this morning. We thank God for a new day and we thank God for Signature TV. So let's fire the fire. Let's come from you.
All right, so we have Weekend Trust. You have a picture of a man watering his garden. It says irrigation farming under threat in Nigeria. And then we have a senator, UK, Umar said we should pray for Nigeria, of course, and how APC, ADC benefits from PDP crisis. And then Lieutenant Yerima says, I think he gives an account of his life after his encounter with Wike. That's on weekend. Then Punch we have...
Let's take them one by one.
Yes, yes, of course.
So that we don't overload it. Irrigation farming under threat in Nigeria. When Nigeria as a nation understand when the world started crying about climate change the last 2 decades, and they have made serious preparations to guard themselves about the effect of climate change, which they say is going to be the next era that will change the whole world. The developing countries like Nigeria, they've not given it any serious thought. We only discuss it like people would expect that people of other countries will come, discuss climate change in Nigeria, bring money for Nigeria to think about climate change, how climate change will affect them, and then guide them through what will happen. That is what they call pipe dream. Climate change is affecting the whole world. And you know, when fire drops on you and drops on the child you are carrying on your laps, you first remove the fire on you before you think about your child. The climate change is real. So when you say irrigation farming, what is the source of water for irrigation? Is the flowing rivers. Some of them tributaries to big waters like ocean or lake around. And now you find that the climate change, the desert encroachment is affecting the northern part of Nigeria seriously. In some other angles, people have said why you have herders, farmers clashes is part of this climate change that is pushing the herders towards the south, where they're looking towards the rainforest, where they can find green pastures for their cattle. That is one of the reasons. But other reasons that are political, land grabbing, and wickedness and all that becomes another thing. Greed and all that one become another. But when we begin to think about climate change, then that's when we can see what the newspaper this morning said about irrigation farming under threat. It's only irrigation that we do all-round seasonal farming. If we depend on rain, it will only be one season. Yeah. Now, with the population of Nigeria and what terrorists and bandits have done to Nigeria farmers, and then the climate change affects irrigation, Nigeria is in for a big trouble. I'm not the prophet of doom. We have agricultural experts all over the universities, the professors, the EGEs, the Ministry of Agriculture, and the allied industries. We have also some agencies like research institutes like IIT Badaru, IARTR in Badaru too. There's one in Kaduna. They're all everywhere in Nigeria. But we don't see effect when these things are happening. We don't see Ministry of Agriculture enlightening Nigeria on what. We have not even seen anything. We only see development organizations trying their best. Other countries of the world are getting ready for climate. Climate change is real. If you see the kind of heat in southern Nigeria now, since my life has not experienced it. It's becoming real. Water scarcity with this heat, water scarcity is joining it and all. So you can imagine what's happening in the north. The sooner we take care of that, the better. And then if you talk about APC being accused of muffling the oppositions as the central party, they have a hand in what is making other party not to stand. No, it sounded so real to believe. But yesterday, I said the same thing sitting on Signature Morning newspaper review. And I said, if you quote Jesus in the Bible, he said, it is true, it is written, that the Son of Man will be betrayed. But woe betide the person through whom the Son of Man is betrayed. So it's true, Nigerian politics, no party wants the other one to become too strong, to take over. Everybody wants the other person down. So in Nigerian political, movement, you have what you call crab system. Everybody's pulling in the brother down so that. But at the end of it all, whoever is the element, whoever is the tool used by the central party to make sure the opposition party do not stand, has written what you call the doom wheel for his generation to come. Because what it means is that Nigeria democratic system will gradually become a one-party thing, where you only be hearing is those who say I. Say I. Everybody will be saying I. There will be no nay. If you borrow the word from the National Assembly. And at that time, if at this time we have some resemblance of opposition, and Nigeria is like this, imagine a time where from the top down is one party, or where we have 90% of the whole political structure in Nigeria tilting towards one side. Imagine what will happen. They will have power, absolute power to dispose, propose, destroy, manage, extend, strategize, modify, do everything they have, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. May God forbid Nigeria to get to that point. So what's the next?
All right, Lieutenant Yarima, live. I think he gave a report on his life after encounter with Nyesom Wike.
Everybody who encounters the strong man, Nyesom Wike, the barrister Nyesom Wike, the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, we have one thing to say about it. He's talking about his own experience. Other people who have encountered him on a good side have good things to say about Nyesom Wike. I don't think he's totally a bad man. It depends on which angle you catch him. If you catch him on the angle of that you are building on illegal site in Abuja, you might not like him. If you catch him on the good time where he will be singing Enyendeba, 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 you see him in very good mood. Or when you see him, catch him in the mood of he dey sweet them, he dey pain them, he dey sweet us, you will know that he has a lot of sides. So everybody describing Nyesom Wike, we describe him from the point, Nyesom Wike has become the legendary elephant that been touched by 10 blind people. The one who touched his leg says like Iroko tree. The one who touches his ear says like a flat surface that is almost like a cloth. Now, that is life. So everybody has but he has his own life to live. Only thing we want is that as a man in political power, we watch out at the point where your personal life becomes an impediment and start pushing you towards point of impunity, where it's like you don't fear nothing, you don't care about anything, you just behave anyhow you want. At that point, we can only advise that power is fleeting. You ask those, where are the Nanda Zikiwes, the Michael Oparas, the Tafawa Belewas, the Sadwanas and all those people, where are they? Where are the Sheku Shagaris? Where are the Kwemes? So at every time you find yourself in power, people will look at you differently. But only you, as the Bible said, man know thyself. We know whether what you are doing is right or wrong. Because generation yet unborn and the history will write about it. And finally, if you want to become philosophical or spiritual, you have to account to a God who created you. So that's how I describe that experience of the man who is talking about his experience with the wicked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On Punch newspaper, we have on page 25, PDP slams defecting lawmakers, calling them enemies of democracy.
Well, that's what PDP, what else do you expect PDP to call them? At the point PDP is now, any defection will be so painful, and they will describe it with emotional and painful words. It's not at this time you want to do what you call mass defection or public defection, and announcing that from PDP you are joining any other party. It means that the remaining factions in PDP will regard that person as wicked, insensitive, and want the party totally dead and buried. But then, you remember the proverb that says, he who fetches the firewood infested, ant-infested firewood, we always call the lizard for a visit. If PDP has maintained their integrity and maintained their sincerity, accountability in their manner of things, if they had maintained their zoning system, if it had assuaged all the ones who were offended and called for unity at earlier stage, maybe what is happening in PDP today will not happen. But come to think about it, everything in life has its own lifetime. Maybe it's time for PDP aged too early and then it's fizzling out quickly. We pray for, the kind of prayer you pray for aged people is what we need for politics. That God will give them strength and still gather people around them to attend to them in their old age. But if it's just internal and family squabble, they should make haste to sort it out, because the Igbo proverb says, "Na agha unu, home war is so dangerous." If people will finish, you wouldn't know even where your battle is coming from. If you are fighting external war, you know one directional bullet. But at home, you wouldn't even know where it's coming from. They will be hitting you both spiritually and physically. So if the PDP is fighting spiritual and physical war, let them sort themselves out. Because from what we are seeing, I'm not a medical doctor, but if you get a medical doctor, when a doctor is looking at your records and he's shaking head, and your patient is lying down, you say, "Doctor, what did you see?" He said, "Don't worry. Don't worry." But if you philosophically, you know that the case is not too good serious. When the doctor is shaking head. From what I see about PDP, you look at their records now, it's like you'll be behaving like Albino and say, PDP. Oh yeah, let's move on.
All right, on independence, it says there's one there. Era of fuel queues in Nigeria has ended. Dangote says supplies for Christmas season guaranteed. How should you think?
Yeah, I'm always on the side of what will make our life easy and smooth. There is a man near my place. He said his title is Onwa. That's the moon. Then there's another man who doesn't like him too much. He went to take another title. They called him Mmiriku Onwa. Now, the two words, one is Onwa, the other one is, if rain allows a moon, it will shine. So if moon, why am I bringing these two, the Onwa and Mmiriku Onwa? Dangote is the Onwa for Nigeria in fuel crisis. The Ip Man, NNPCL, and whatever they call themselves from that side is the Mmiriku Onwa, with their guarantee that Dangote is giving us. It will be asking the NNPCL and Ip Man and all their exporters and importers, damaging and managing directors, that they should allow Dangote to make good his boast and promise. Otherwise, if what happened in recent past continue in the recent future, Dangote's promise might be truncated, and we find ourselves working in Alaska. So we have to dress warm. So we have to be pleading to all things pure and good, both to God and to man, to say, please allow Dangote put all the fuel he has into the Nigerian society, especially for this season of celebration, so that we will not be always be fighting two wars at each time. Nigeria deserves, at a time like this, at the end of the year, some respite, where we sit down and say, thank God that we survive this hardship, hunger, stress, kidnapping, killing, and all manner of things that have become a problem for Nigerians in the year 2025.
All right, lastly, before we wrap up the segment, this is from Senator Natasha on Leadership Weekend. She says, at Babio's 200 billion naira suit, I can now prove sexual harassment case.
Well, going back to Natasha Babio thing, I'm just surprised that although he has been in court when we started, we never had that the court has finished it. So, but the amount of money being called for sexual harassment, somebody will be saying, if you use 1 billion naira to make me good, how much will you get when after making good? So if it's sexual harassment that is 200 million, do you say billion?
Billion.
Is it million?
Billion.
Billion. Wonderful. So it means this make me good is expensive. So everybody should be careful. So even when you are eyeing anybody and say, come and make me good, be careful because 200 billion, depending. Because Natasha is a senator, her price is high for 200 billion. Well, she has to prove her case. She says she has right now to prove her case. Let's see and hope that the court will give her all those rights to. And the Senate, they will see it again as being recasted and disobedient to their statutes and all the regulations of the Senate. She is free to prove her point. She is a Nigerian, and in this era of gender streamlining, gender equity and inclusion, she has right to say whether she's harassed or not and prove it at any well-constituted court of competent jurisdiction. And let's see how that turns out.
You wanted to take one more? Just one last one. I mean, he said this is on the new tax regime. Federal government experts calm Nigeria's fears as 2026 reforms on tax take shape.
Yeah, I only say that this is very usual of federal government of Nigeria.
Yeah.
If you read from the visual video and the articles going around everywhere, people are attacking it. Some people say, hey, Nigerians in 2026, it is no more usual thing. You might find you go to your bank, you find out you don't have money again in your account. So the federal government have been talking about new tax law. They've not done any enlightenment to any Nigerian. And you have few days to the end of the year, and this tax regime will start. When will Nigeria learn to carry the citizens along? We have the Ministry of Finance and Budget and all. They have massive budget to do public enlightenment, even if it's radio and TV and social media. But they will not tell Nigerians anything. So Nigerians become vulnerable to when, imagine when a small girl is not told about sex education at home, and he gets to the street and find one wicked and the idiotic uncle want to teach a small girl sex education. You know your guess is as good as mine. That is what is making Nigerians vulnerable. If Nigerians know what they expect in 2023 and 2027, they will not, or 26, they will not be expecting anybody to explain. They will say, government has said. Yeah. But we're hearing it from everybody explaining to people. We have even brought people on this station to explain what is this new tax regime. We, even me, do not know. And I've not seen anywhere where it was written. When they passed the policy, it's the National Assembly. They've not released it and broken it down. We have people who represent us at National Assembly. They have not come down to their constituency to explain. Of course, they won't come to their nation because the road is not safe, especially some constituencies that do not have airport. So, God bless Nigeria. God bless you for having been with us this morning. Thank you. It's a weekend. Enjoy yourself. And whatever it is, Nigerians are resilient. And all the people of the world, God bless you. God bless you, Princess. You're looking more pretty today. And God bless me too. But remember that God blessings are meant for those who deserve to be blessed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Princess.
All right. New day continues shortly after this break. We'll be right back.